You know that feeling, right? When you're so lost in a good book that the rest of the world just kind of fades away. I mean, we all see reading as one of the best hobbies out there, a real sign of a curious mind. But what happens when that amazing escape becomes a little too complete? When a passion for pages starts to, well, take over your entire life? All right, so let's just jump right into the heart of it. This is the big question we're tackling today. Can a habit as good as wonderful as reading actually go too far? Can it become a problem? And believe it or not, according to the research we're digging into, the answer is yeah, it can. And look, this is the key distinction right here. We're not talking about just being a bookworm. Problematic reading really boils down to one single crucial word: interference. That's the magic word. It's that tipping point where the habit stops adding to your life and starts, actively getting in the way of it. So the big question is, how do you even know if you've crossed that line? Well, that's exactly what part one is all about: how to spot the signs in your own life. And honestly, what all the source material points to is that this step, this self-awareness, is everything. It's the whole ball game. Because think about it, you can't really change a habit if you don't even recognize that, hey, maybe it needs a little tweak. Okay, so let's break down what these warning signs actually look like. And, they can be pretty subtle. Maybe it's staying up till 3 a.m. just to finish one more chapter, even though you have a huge meeting the next morning. We've all been there, right? Or maybe you find yourself kind of zoning out during conversations with people you care about because your mind is already on that book waiting for you. It could even be that little jolt of panic when you realize you left the house without something to read. And look, this isn't about judging yourself. It's just about being honest. So just take a sec. Do any of these ring a bell for you? All right, so if some of those signs feel a little familiar, the next logical question is, why? Why does this happen? That's what we're going to explore in part two, the allure of escape. And wow, this quote really nails it, doesn't it? I mean, reading is an amazing escape. But here's the catch. The danger pops up when it becomes our only escape. The one and only tool in our toolbox for dealing with stress or anxiety or feeling lonely. And when that happens, that wonderful escape can start to feel, well, a little bit like a trap. So this is a really good moment to just pause and ask yourself this question. That powerful urge to just dive into a book and not come out, it's usually not random. It's almost always a response to something else. Are you trying to avoid a difficult conversation, a project at work that's stressing you out, or maybe just that uncomfortable feeling of boredom? And understanding that why is a total game changer. It shifts your whole perspective. You go from telling yourself, ugh, I have this bad habit, to asking a much kinder question. What unmet need is this book fulfilling for me right now? And that one little question, it changes everything. Suddenly, it's not about forcing yourself with willpower. It's about being compassionate with yourself and just finding a healthier way to meet that need. Which is the perfect segue into part three. We've talked about the what and the why, so now let's get into the how. We're going to build your personal toolkit for finding that balance with a bunch of super practical strategies pulled right from the source material. First up, let's talk about boundaries. This is huge. Instead of just reading whenever a free second pops up, you actually schedule it. Like, decide you're going to read for exactly 30 minutes after dinner. Then, use a timer or an alarm to stick to it. You could even create no reading zones. Maybe the bedroom is off limits if you're always staying up too late. The point is, these little rules put you back in the driver's seat, so the habit isn't controlling you. And hey, if you're the kind of person who likes a concrete number to aim for, the research offers a pretty practical guideline. Try to cap your reading at about 4 hours a day. It's not a strict rule, but it's a really solid benchmark to help prevent that brain-fried feeling and, make sure you still have time for everything else in life. All right, the next tool in the kit is a big one. You've got to diversify. I mean, it makes sense, right? If reading is your only hobby, of course it's going to swallow up all your free time. So the trick is to be intentional. Actually schedule other stuff. Put a walk on your calendar. Plan a workout. Make plans with a friend. And here's a fantastic little hack. Get into audiobooks. They're perfect because you can still get your story fix while you're exercising or, folding laundry. This leads us perfectly to the next strategy, which is less about what you do and more about how you think. It's a total mindset shift. So instead of trying to crush a reading goal and read a ton of books, focus on the quality of the experience. And when you feel that almost frantic urge to grab a book, just stop. Pause for 1 second. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, hey, what's behind this urge right now? That tiny moment of mindfulness, it's unbelievably powerful. Okay, and the last tool in our toolkit is maybe the most important one. Getting support. Because let's be real, trying to change a habit that's really dug in, all by yourself, that's just really, really hard. And support can look like a lot of different things. It could be as simple as telling a friend, hey, I'm trying to find a little more balance with my reading. Can you help keep me on track? But also, if you start to realize that maybe reading has become your main way of dealing with deeper stuff like anxiety or depression, then reaching out to a professional like a therapist who does CBT is an incredible sign of strength. It's not a weakness. They can give you brand new tools to cope in healthy ways. So let's do a quick recap of that whole toolkit. The 4 big strategies are: 1. Set clear boundaries. 2. Diversify your life with other hobbies and people. 3. Practice mindfulness to understand the why behind the urge. And 4. Don't be afraid to lean on your support system. Putting all these tools together brings us to our final part, forging a new chapter. So what does life actually look like once you start to find that balance? And I really want to be crystal clear about this. The goal here is not to stop reading. No way. The goal is simply to restore balance, to make sure this amazing hobby is a healthy, happy part of your life, not the only part of your life. This right here is what we're aiming for. It's all about making that shift. You're moving away from using reading just as an escape and moving toward using it for enrichment. You're going from using a book to avoid life to using it as one of many wonderful tools to make your life even better. So really, the big takeaway here is that finding this balance isn't about losing something, it's about gaining something. You're not losing your love of reading, you're just opening up space for new experiences, for deeper connections, for other hobbies, all while keeping that love of books totally intact. So I want to leave you with this final thought. If any of this resonated with you today and you're thinking about rebalancing your own relationship with reading, what's one small thing you could do today? What will be the very first page in your new chapter?